Okay. And I've slacked a little bit on recording stuff. We are going to kind of get back into that just a little bit. But one of the things I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about the small groups tonight, and then I want to read something to you at the end. But let's see here. I need someone to hand these out. All right, Caitlin, come out there. I need you to hand something out there. Matthew, that's great.
It says CBC 1, 2, 3, 4 notes.
Okay, I have
Take it or
so
okay.
I'm ready. Yeah, I'm good. You don't need it now. I come from I'm a nerd.
All right. Thank you, sir.
I need a paper.
Did Matthew not give you one?
Wow, what?
Well, no one was sitting there.
Fail.
You're fine.
Okay.
Okay, so and if I don't get to the 4 blanks on that, I'll give it to you at the end, because I just kind of want to talk to you about this whole the whole idea of small groups and kind of what we're wanting to do with this and stuff. And I hate Alicia can't be here with us tonight because we've talked a lot about this, and it's and she's going to be a huge part of it too. But we do want to go and get it started. One of the biggest statements in this that I want you guys to understand, if you and like the kind of the big thought tonight, if you get anything out of this, to be bigger we have to be smaller. We have to get smaller. To be bigger we have to get smaller. This kind of sounds counterintuitive, right? It's kind of different than what you would think. If you want to be bigger, you want to eat more, right? You don't want to like not eat more. But what this is talking about is like to grow your faith, you have to kind of get back to the basics of things. That's one of the biggest things, and that's one of the reasons that like I talk so much about the basics. John Wooden is one of the like most famous basketball coaches in the history of basketball. He's like one of the best there's ever been. First day of practice, what do you think he actually had his team do? Do you think he run suicides? They probably did do that. But anybody else got a guess? So like what his like kind of big thing he did on the first day? He taught them how to tie their shoes. That's it. It's a basic. But he wanted to make sure they understood that basics were important. So to be able to like grow closer to God, we have to make sure that we have the basics down and we have those little things down. To grow the youth group bigger, because we do want a bigger ministry, right? Everybody wants to see more people in here. Everybody wants to see more people being saved. Everybody wants to see their friends and their family getting it. It just makes life better. It makes things better. To do that, we have to get smaller. And one of the reasons that we have to do this, and this has been a big passion of mine, and I've kind of wanted to do this since we got here. And we've tried a few different things with small groups, and I'm trying to think, and I was thinking about this today. Were you around when we did the like Facebook groups and stuff like that? Yeah, okay. We tried some stuff on like Facebook, doing groups on it. It went good for like 2 weeks, and then it kind of dropped off. We've tried a few different things, and the one thing about it is it's never worked, or it's never had momentum, and it's never kept going. But when we talk about a small group, what we're talking about, and it's kind of the things that I'm going to look at here in just a second. It's going to be a group of people that you can do life with and that you can connect with in like a different way. It's not just you're in the youth group together and occasionally you'll like kind of, hey, and that's it to each other. And that's the extent of it. And it's one of the reasons, and I'm going to read something to y'all, like I said, here in a little bit. But it's something for you guys to connect with more. It's going to stay small no matter how big we get. We'll probably cap it at like 12 people in a group, maybe 10 actually in a group. And then if each group gets bigger than that, then we'll start another one, and that's fine. I'll be ecstatic. But that's what, when I'm talking about a small group, it's going to be a group where you can actually come together and like individuals, and you can grow together, and you can develop these relationships. In the Bible, this is all throughout the Bible. Very few times in the Bible, or not very few times, but there's sometimes in the Bible where you see like Jesus preaching to the multitude and thousands of people, or you see people standing in front of the whole Jewish community preaching. Those times are fewer and less impactful than the times that you see people connecting in one-on-one ways. Jesus, he would preach to thousands regularly. But Jesus also had a group of 12 people that he connected with daily, that he walked every day with. But even more than that, he had 3 people in that group that he fed into every single day of his life. He would pull them even aside from the 12, and he would teach them, and he would pray with them, and he would connect with them. Relationships matter. Even Paul, and I'm preaching Sunday night. And I may even, and I think I'm going to talk about this a little bit too. Paul had Timothy. 1st and 2nd Timothy in the Bible, the guy he's writing to, and that he had him. That was somebody that he loved, and he connected with, and that he discipled, and that he led to grow. So when we talk about like doing the small groups, we're going to split them up. For right now, boys and girls. Guys, you're going to be with me. Girls, at first you're going to be with me too, and then Alicia's going to take over pretty soon after. But we need to work out a few kinks. So, girls, you're not getting rid of me totally yet. But it's close, okay? But it's going to be a place where you can grow with your friendships that you have now, and hopefully develop some more, and grow closer to God more than anything. This is one of the best expressions of what the church is. And what I mean by that is that as we get smaller and we grow more as a community and we grow more together, we're going to be the church more. There may be some stuff like we may decide, hey, guys, we're going to go out and we're going to go take some stuff to the homeless or something like that. Or girls, you may decide to do that. We may do that all together, but it's going to be a way for you to decide and for you to grow closer to God, to do the things that God has called us all to do. And in doing that, it's going to, if you commit to it, and that's what we're going to read about here in just a little bit, it's going to absolutely change your faith. And it's going to help you go from like wherever you're at right now to like closer to God and where you need to be. And that's the whole point of this. It's not so that we can like go and brag and tell people, it's like, dude, our small groups are thriving. That's not the point of it. And this is totally voluntary too, and I want to be really clear on that too. It's like I'm not twisting anybody's arm and making anybody show up to this, because it's a commitment. That's something that you guys need to understand with it, is that you are committing to do this when we do this. One of the biggest verses on this in the Bible is Hebrews 10:24 and 25. And it says, "And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as you see the day approaching." We typically see this verse and we treat it as the church verse. Guys, make sure you come to church. The big Sunday morning service, the big Sunday night, the big Wednesday night, make sure you come to that. And you should, and it does mean that in a way. But if you notice this, consider one another. Not forsaking the assembly of ourselves together, but exhorting one another. This is more on an individual basis. This is talking more as much about like me and Matthew as it is me and everybody. It can mean both, and it does. We need to come together as a church. But this also means us coming together individually and us coming together in small ways. So the 4 things that we're going to look at, and this is the only slide for the 4 of those, But these 4 things: consider one another, provoke unto love and to good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, and exhorting one another. So, if you want your 4 slots filled, that's the things that we're talking about in those. Considering one another. And these are 4 things that, like, moving forward, like, not just even in the small group, but even just in this ministry as a whole that you want to do. Considering one another. This is talking about thinking about each other, like praying for each other outside of the church service. You know, this isn't me, like, texting Mason and saying, hey, Mason, you need to pray for somebody. I know, like, your prayer life's all jacked up and you need to pray for somebody. That's not what that is. If Mason is going to consider one another, he's going to be sitting in his room on like a Friday night. He's going to be like, you know what? I'm going to pray for Matthew. And then he's going to pray for Matthew. This is like Emily making a decision and saying, like, okay, well, you know what? I've got Caitlin on my mind. I'm going to message Caitlin and just check on her and see how she's doing. So considering one another is a huge deal, and it's something that we have to do. As we grow closer, this is important. We're a family in here. Y'all realize that, right? Everybody's writing as hard as they can. Like, it's okay. So, but we are a family. And we need to start acting that way. We need to start treating each other that way. It's okay to poke fun. It's okay to mess with each other and stuff like that. Trust me, I get it. I'm one of the biggest cut-ups there is. But we need to think about each other and be conscious of each other. We need to pray for each other. Provoke unto love and good works. This is pushing each other to do the right things. That's like if I see Graceland going down a bad road and she's beating people up every day. I mean, she's just she roughs up Mason daily, and I'm just like, all right, I know he deserves it, but Jesus doesn't want you to do that. He's a child of God too. So that's provoking her to good works. That's helping her to get away from that bad road she's on. So we need to honestly, we need to reach out to each other, and we need to help provoke each other unto good works. I said that because I was fussing and complaining today, and someone called me out on it using my own words, saying, hey, you told me that person is a child of God, and to stop that. That's provoking unto good works, love and good works. So, see, this is already working. So, to provoke unto love and good works, that's one of the things that we have to do with each other. Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together. It's staying connected. Staying connected. That's being here on Wednesday nights in Sunday school. That's being at when we meet for small groups. That's staying connected throughout the week. Messaging each other. Just saying, hey, how's it going? Check out this funny meme. That's all it can be. But stay connected. Being connected is about a lot more than the 4 walls of this building. Being the church is about a lot more than the 4 walls of this building. We've seen that through the pandemic and everything. For 3 months, we weren't here. Did we cease to be the church? No, we didn't. So, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together. We have to stay connected. And exhorting one another. Does anybody have an idea what that is? Yes.
Lifting each other up.
Lifting each other up, yes. Encouraging each other, lifting each other up. Like I said, I'm a huge cut up, and I like to mess up people. And Mason has been a big person I've picked on a lot recently. But that's me coming to him and saying, dude, you're doing awesome. I'm so proud of you. That's exhorting him. That's lifting him up instead of me telling him he sucks like the other day I did. It's there's differences. We can mess with each other. We can cut each other down, joking around and stuff like that. But it has to be joking around. And then there has to be some lifting up in all of it. Alicia's dad used to have this funny thing. She would get mad. She'd even hit him in the arm or something like that. But his rule was, you have to have a smile on your face. You have to have a smile on your face. You can be mad, you can hit me in the arm, you can do whatever, but you have to kind of show you love me in some sense. She'd walk over with a big grin on her face and hit him in the arm. And but sometimes that's how we have to be with our brothers and sisters in the church, and sometimes our brothers and sisters in real life. You have to just kind of get past it, and you have to just get to this place where you still encourage them. I'm not saying to follow them around all day, every day, just saying, you're awesome, you're awesome, you're awesome, you're awesome. That's going to be weird. But we do have to encourage each other. There's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of doubt, there's a lot of fear in the world right now. And one of the things that you guys have to know is that you have people in this room that care, and they're going to be there for you. You may just know that, and that's awesome if you do. But you need to like express that and let people know that you're there and that you care. By doing that, they're going to feel better. They may let you know that they're there and that they're going to help you, and that's going to help you, and that's going to encourage you, and it's just going to help you to be better. If I text like one of y'all randomly tomorrow, and I say, say I just make the decision I'm going to text Chloe tomorrow, and I'm like, Chloe, you are awesome. I'm so proud of you. Is that going to make your day worse?
No.
Is it maybe going to help your day a little bit? Kind of? That's better than no. I mean, it's, if one of these people in here like texted you and said that, would that make your day better?
She does it every day, so yeah.
See? All right, awesome. So it does. It makes your day better. It helps. If you send that to someone in this room, they're not going to like kind of curl their nose up and be like, shut up. I am not awesome. Leave me alone. I suck. And if they do say that, tell them to shut up and keep encouraging them. But these are 4 things that like we have to do as a ministry as a whole, and as we kind of get into these small groups. These are things that we have to practice. You know, praying for each other. You know, being there for each other, pushing them to do the right things, staying connected with each other, and encouraging each other. That's not revolutionary. All right, nobody, like, no one is like sitting in here like, man, nobody that shouldn't be blowing anybody's mind, at least. But guys, these are things that are just going to make things better. So to be bigger, we have to get smaller. And this is going to be something I say probably a lot over the course of this whole thing. And in 4 weeks, 6 weeks, or something like that, we may take a step back and we may look and see what we can do better. I don't imagine that it's going to be the exact same in 6 months that it is on day one. I'm not stupid. I know we'll have to change some stuff. But I think that this is something that can take us from where we're at to a much better place as a ministry. I've seen what this has done for other churches and for other ministries. I've been very passionate about this. I felt very convicted that this is something that we should do. It's not replacing anything either. This is going to be something else, and that's why the commitment part is so important on this. But it can be, I promise you this, it can be something that will take you to the next level on your faith and your relationship with God. And if you're a believer in Jesus Christ, man, you should want that desperately. You shouldn't want to settle like we talked about a few weeks ago. You should want more of Him. So, one last verse I just want to read, and this kind of takes everything I've said into effect, and then we're going to talk about something else for a second. In Proverbs 27:17, it says, "Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend." Your peers, the people in this room, the people beside you, in front of you, behind you, they're going to be the ones that help you grow in your faith as much as it breaks my heart, more than me. All right. As much as I want to, like I want to just like grab Matthew by the hair and drag him into a better place in his faith, I can't do that. Because if I do that, and like I drag him and I'm like, all right, you're going to do this, this, and this. And he's like, okay, because he's scared because I just drug him down the hall. That's not actually going to be for real. He's doing this out of fear, not love for God. But when you have someone that, like a friend, that you can come beside and do this with, man, that changes things. That makes things different. So I really encourage you guys to do this first off, and to take it seriously, and to really commit to it. And if you do, it is going to change your life. And I don't mean to be dramatic or like throw it out there and be like, oh, it's going to be huge. You know, it really will change your life if you commit to this. So, but I do want to ask one question. If you guys would bow your heads and close your eyes, I do want to, because we have to throw this out there every time.